And this is episode 52 of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. 1 year anniversary. Been doing this podcast for a year now, so let's get straight into it. And I'll be talking about Night of Champions, ranking the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, talking about the WNBA, talking about some golf. So I'm gonna start with the Liv Golf Dallas, and talk about some of the top performers from that so far, with the first round of the tournament already wrapping up, and round three taking place later today. Starting on a high note for Dustin Johnson, who had a hot start, had an early advantage. Yeah, early on it was Hughes and Johnson battling for that top spot early on. Bryson DeChumbe, who had won two tournaments this year, if I'm not mistaken, struggled in the first round. He was struggling early on, so he was kind of out of it. Like he wasn't gonna reach that top five. He didn't look like he was gonna reach top five by the end of it, which he didn't, because he was struggle throughout round one. And this was on Friday when this was happening, on June 27th. Then Varner and Sergio, they were both climbing up. They had slow starts, but eventually towards like the middle of it, the middle holes, like hole like 15, like 15, 14. That's when they started to pick up. That's when they got on their hot streak. Answer had an impressive birdie. He had a few birdies to stay in it in rounds one and two. Like he had some of the best birdies in here. He had some of the best shots so far, or the best swings, whatever you want to call it, throughout the Dallas tournament so far. It was like nobody had, and this usually how it starts off around one, because nobody usually has the crazy edge over the other person that's behind them. At least that's what I've seen so far this year. Because this tournament ain't been as good as the other ones, especially after how round two played out last night. But sticking with round one, and you had Reed. He was playing well, but he wasn't able to capitalize on one of his birdie attempts. So he still ended up having a good overall day. He still had a pretty decent showing. The Bryson DeChumbe continued to fall. He was at the top of it at one point. Then he fell all the way to ninth. Then he was at the top 10. So by the end of it, Sergio Garcia, like I said, my favorite golf player, he continued to struggle. But his struggles have continued most of the season. Like when I first started watching, seeing the first tournament, I was like, yeah, I like this guy. And now it's been constant struggles. So it continues, but I'm gonna still support him. Still support him regardless. Hopefully he plays better in round three today. But it's just been hasn't really been up and down. It's just been down most of the year. And then Surratt, Hayden, and Watson, they all struggled. They was all at either 18 or lower at the end of round one. Because at the end of round one, it was Harold Varner at a -5, Patrick Reed at a -5, John Rahm at -4, uh, Abraham, that's I forgot his name, but Abraham was at a -3. I forgot his last name. I don't know why I didn't write it down. I might have wrote it down for round two. And then McDowell, Lahiri, Wynn, Johnson, Pugh. It was a five-way tie at fifth place at a -2. And that's just after round one. And then round two took place last night. And Cam Smith, he got started with back-to-back birdies. So he was already in a good spot. Abraham answered. I don't know why I didn't write his name down in the first one. I wrote it down for today. But yeah, he had back-to-back. But Cam Smith, like I said, back-to-back birdies to get started. So he had it was Patrick Reed and Harold Varner. They was fighting for that top spot early on for like the first 3 to 4 holes. They was in control of that top spot, rotating between one and two. Answer had multiple birdies again that was able to keep him in it, because he never fell out of the top five, if I'm not mistaken. So that kept him in it. Leishman, he had an excellent shot, but he was between the trees. He had a really good shot, and he ended up making it too. So that helped him climb up a little bit. Sergio Garcia, well, he had a shot that was like deep in the grass, and it was a really good one. He didn't get to the hole, but he got close to it, so he did have a cool spot. But he still struggled throughout most of this day and haven't caught up to the top guys in round two. And then you had Reed. Patrick Reed was finally able to pull away and get and Like he had a lot more momentum here, and he was able to pull away a little bit, giving him an edge over the other competitors behind him. Because that's what everybody needs in this tournament. Like once you're in first, or you're battling between first and second, you want to get that edge that can put you over the top just a little bit. And if you can keep that and stay at that rate, then you should be good throughout it. And that's what Patrick Reed was able to do. He was at a -10 at one point. He finished with a -9. He was still ahead of the pack by a decent margin. So McDowell, he ended up falling, which helped Hayden Terrell. Hayden, he was able to rise from that. Obviously, ripple effect of what can happen when somebody falls and gives somebody else a chance to climb. Then the Chumbe, he was inches away from climbing up, but that one miss stopped him from climbing up. Because I don't think he finished yet. He wasn't in the top 10 once again. So a pretty bad tournament for Bryson DeChumbe, which is very unexpected because he's been great this year. And then Pugh, he couldn't. He had one that was super close. He couldn't get in, but yeah, it was an inconsistent weekend from DeChumbe because he had some moments. Then there was some moments that weren't that great. So it was like, man, I wish that he should be playing better. He usually does play better, which is why I'm very surprised with his inconsistencies throughout this tournament. At the end, round two, Patrick Reed is at a -9. In first place. Paul Casey is at a -6. Abraham Answer's at a -6. Hayden, Hugh, Glenn, and Varner all at a -5. Then in fifth place, you got John Rahm at a -4. Or technically eighth, since it's multiple guys tied at fourth. But that's how the orders panned out. That's how it shaped out so far up to this point. Yeah, that's what I have for the golf stuff. Move on to talk about some of the biggest surprises of the WNBA season so far. Yeah. Huh. All right, I'm back now. And so next I'm talking about the biggest surprises from the WNBA season so far. So I'm gonna start with there's a lot I could talk about. Or I could go down for each team. But the Connecticut Sun, that's not really a surprise. I figured they'll be one of the worst teams with the whole roster construction and then getting rid of everybody that helped them make the playoffs last season, everybody in the starting lineup. So not being able to retain any of them or trade some of them away, like that didn't help this team. They're 2-14. They had a worst record in the league, worse than Chicago, worse than Dallas. So this I didn't really no, this I expected. As far as Chicago goes, I feel like Angel Reese should have took a step this year. Like Angel Reese isn't bad. I think she's better than what people make it out to be. Like I'm gonna drop a video about Angel Reese soon, but she's not as bad as people think. But I was expecting more of a leap this year. But it's so much more demanding on her and Camila Cardoso when they don't have an actual point guard. Like them losing Kennedy Carter, that sucks because I don't know why they didn't bring her back. You should have brought Kennedy Carter back. That would have been perfect. So like because Kennedy Carter had already shown she could take that next step. So I think she could have repeated that once again this season. It would have been great for this team. So I don't like Angel Reese has been good this season. She might make the All-Star team again. And the rebound, she still said even without the offensive rebound, she will be second in rebounds because she still averages a lot of defensive rebounds. So I don't really understand the injuries hate, but yeah, the Dallas Wings, biggest surprise. Uh, Camila Cardoso I expected to be better too. Like injury, she should say the same as last season. It's like it's been a little bit of progression, but Camila Cardoso, I don't feel like she's progressed at all. So then as far as the Dallas Wings, we're 5-13. We should have a chance to make the playoffs. Like the season not over. Like we just won a game when we had 6 players out. So I'm just concerned on how we started off the season so bad, being a 1-11 at one point, and now we're 5-13. We don't win what? Trying to see what's our last 10 look like, but we went 4-6 in our last 10. So yeah, 4-6 in our last 10. So we've been better. We got a chance to catch the Sparks. I don't know how the Aces are. I'm gonna get to the Aces in a second. But we have a chance to catch a few of these teams to get the A spot for the playoffs, which I'm hoping for. So I love for us to get some playoff experience. I know Paige missed some games, but even when she was playing, we were like 1-6, 1-7. So we still had a bad record with her in the lineup. Now that she's came back from the injury, we've been better since that. We've picked up some more wins, so we're not the worst team in the league anymore. We're third worst, but we still have a chance to climb up. And I feel like it's been some good points of the season. I feel like we can make a push for the playoffs. We might not make it, looking at who's in there at this point. But yeah, the Los Angeles Sparks, I'm also surprised by that because I thought the Sparks and Wings will both take a leap this year. But with Cameron Brink being out, I knew that affected them a bit, but I ain't know it affected them this much. The way they start the season so slow, they're 5-11 right now. Like I thought they'd be like in the middle of the pack, like kind of where Indiana's at, like with them being 8-8 right now, and obviously that's because of Caitlin Clark being injured. But I feel like this Sparks team should have been better too, because you got to move to get Kelsey Plum in free agency, which was a great decision. And Kelsey Plum has been good this season, but I expect the Sparks to be better. I'm surprised that they've been this bad. But the team I'm most surprised by is the Las Vegas Aces. Through 16 games for most teams, the Aces are not in playoff position. They are the ninth seed in the league and will miss the playoffs at the start of the day with a 7-8 record. Now I knew that them losing Kelsey Plum would hurt, but even the return they got back was still good. So I didn't think they'd be the fourth seed like they never. I didn't think they were going to it having home court at this point if the playoffs started today. But I thought they'd at least be 5 or 6, like kind of similar to last season, like around 6, because they were 4 last year. I thought they would have fell a little bit, but not super far. So I'm very surprised with the Las Vegas Aces start 7-8 in their first 15 games, worse than the Mystics and the Golden State Valkyries. And obviously it's just by a game, but I expected this team to be much better. Even like I don't know what's going on with the Aces. Like Adrian Wilson still been doing her thing. She was out a few games in concussion protocol, but we're past that now. She just came back to the lineup. So I don't know how this team has still been a mediocre team. I expect them to be where the Golden State Valkyries are right now, or the Seattle Storm at, which I'm gonna get to those teams in a second. To watch the Mystics, I'm pretty sure they're the youngest team in the league, so not too many surprises. Because they were close to making the playoffs last year, so them being middle of the pack, that's not really surprising with an 8-9 record. Kiki Area fans, Sonya Citron have been great. Both the rookies they got in this year's draft class, so they're gonna be competing for rookie of the year. So nothing really surprising with the Mystics. The Fever with Caitlin Clark missed 6 games, I think, and they're still 8-8. So they've been able to win games with her out the lineup, which that's something that they're gonna need to do because if she's not playing, you got to be able to win games. And the Fever have done that, so not really surprising about the Fever. I did think they'll be better, but you can never know what happens with injuries and stuff. So with Caitlin Clark being out, they're still able to win games. So shout out to the Fever for being able to do that. The Golden State Valkyries might be the biggest surprise with them being led by Kayla Thornton. And really, mostly, and this is an expansion team. This is the Valkyries' first year in the W, and they have an 8-7 record. And I'm pretty sure if they beat the Aces. I'm pretty sure they beat the Aces one Friday night in a very surprising blowout. But them being led by Kayla Thornton, like you wouldn't expect that because Kayla Thornton was always a role player in her time in the W. So now that she's leading this team and they have other solid pieces, they're in playoff position now. Obviously, it's still been around 30, 29 games left in the WNBA season. But 15 games in and they're already in the playoff position at the 6th seed. I think it's very possible if they keep this momentum going and make the playoffs. Like, I could definitely see that happening. They get some playoff experience their first year. I don't know if any other. This might be the best start for an expansion team in the WNBA could be wrong about that. Fact check me if I am. But this could be the only expansion team to make the playoffs in their first year. The Seattle Storm, no surprise they're a 10-6 record. I expect the Seattle to be a top 5 team once again. And Skylar Diggins Smith, she's been playing great after that disappointing playoff performance last year. She's been playing great. So shout out to Skylar Diggins Smith. The Atlanta Dream, I forgot where I predicted the Dream to be at, but I knew Brittany Griner would be a great addition for that team. So them being 10-6, I don't think I had them finish in top 4, and obviously it's still just 16 games per season for some of these teams. But I did think that I thought they'd be in playoff contention. I didn't predict top 4, but the addition of Brittany Griner has really helped this team. As far as the New York Liberty go, 11-4, expecting them to be at the top again. No surprise there. The Phoenix Mercury is definitely the biggest surprise with a 12-4 record, being the second seed in the W right now. That was definitely unexpected because I didn't think they'd be. I thought they'd be one of the worst teams too. I thought they'd be with Connecticut with all the roster moves and construction that they did in the offseason. So I wasn't expecting this team to be good. So that's definitely a surprise. Alyssa Thomas, she's been great this year once again. But yeah, I ain't expect the Phoenix Mercury to be where they are now. So shout out to them. They definitely proved me wrong. I can't say I was wrong about that. And then the Minnesota Lynx at 13-2. Not surprising. I'm pretty sure I had them finishing top 3 once again. I don't know if I had them or the Liberty. I know in the top 3 I had Minnesota, New York, and Indiana. Just forgot the order, but not surprised that the Liberty are here at this point. So that's as far as it goes for my big surprises in the WNBA so far. And the Fiesa Collier, once again, having another great season, on pace to win MVP. So and then I voted for the WNBA All-Star team last week or 2 weeks ago. So if y'all didn't see that, y'all can find that on one of my other podcast episodes. But now moving on to the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. This is going to be an interesting list because some people might agree, some people might disagree. But I'm going to get that out the way. The top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. And leave y'all list in the comments below. But at 10, this is where I have Jordan Love. I feel like he had another good season for the Packers. Led them to the playoffs. Was hurt a few games when he came back. And Malik Willis went back to the bench. Led them to the playoffs. They've been there back-to-back years, if I'm not mistaken. But Jordan Love, still young, been in the Packers system for a little minute now. And he had to back up Aaron Rodgers for the first 3 years of his career. So now they're a team that's always going to be in playoff contention. So I feel like 10 is a good placement for Jordan Love. But he can definitely move up. At 9, I have C.J. Stroud. Because he's only been in the NFL 2 seasons. So I have to see, like, Jaden Daniels won't be on this list. Not because Jaden Daniels is bad, but because can't use one season to rank Jaden Daniels. That's all I have of him. Like, it had to be multiple seasons. And I feel like C.J. Stroud has proved back-to-back years that he's great. Like, he proved that it wasn't a one-hit wonder. Had another great season with the Texans. Led them to back-to-back playoff appearances. But he still can't do anything against the Ravens in the playoffs. Already 0-2 against them. I'm not saying that he has to win those games, but those games just simply have to make competitive. So when C.J. Stroud is going against some of these top teams like the Ravens, like it's not on him all the time because the Texans did have injuries. But I think the other guys, I just simply have more film with them and can judge them better than I can do with C.J. Stroud. At 8, I have Justin Herbert. And this hurts to say, but Justin Herbert has been very disappointing. Because he's been to the playoffs twice with the Chargers. And both the first time he went, the Chargers blew a 27-0 lead. That's not all on Herbert, but he didn't do anything for them to keep the lead. So not only was it on the defense, but as a quarterback, he's one facilitating the offense. So he has to help them keep the lead as well, and he didn't do that in that game. Then he had the 4 interception game versus the Texans this past season in that battle against C.J. Stroud. So back to back, both years he's been in the playoffs in his career. He's been severely outplayed in the playoffs. He's still a good quarterback, which is why I got him top 10. But I don't think he's better than these other guys come playoff time. That's why I have Matthew Stafford at 7. Won a Super Bowl in 2021. Went to the Super Bowl in 2016 and lost that one, but he got back there, got his redemption, and was able to win. And he's still been a good quarterback, even at his older age, leading the Rams to multiple playoff appearances. I feel like Matthew Stafford's still one of the best in the game. But I don't think his age hasn't really slowed him down. And the Rams could be a team, even with the moves they made, they could be in the playoffs once again this upcoming season. At 6, I have Baker Mayfield, who people thought wouldn't be a credible backup for Tom Brady after he left the Buccaneers because of what he did with the Browns and how his career started. Wasn't very impressive. But since he's been with the Buccaneers, obviously led them to 2 or 3 playoffs, had multiple deep playoff runs, and after Brady left, that was what they relied on. They keep winning the NFC South division, which isn't a hard division to win, but can't take that away from Baker Mayfield. Him and Mike Evans have been a fun, dynamic duo on Tampa. But they'll probably make the playoffs again. And then Baker Mayfield, he's great. He's really changed his game. He's able to scramble now, with something he didn't do much of earlier in his career when he was with the Browns. So now that he's able to do that, I can confidently put Baker in his top 10 and be confident in the Buccaneers making the playoffs and making deep runs. At number 5, I have Jalen Hurts. Some people won't like this, but I feel like Jalen Hurts is one of the best in the game. He's a true dual threat quarterback, which is a few other guys on this list that I have above him. He's went to the playoffs multiple times. He's been to the playoffs 4 times out of his 5-year career. Even in 2021, when nobody expected the Eagles to go to the playoffs, he led them there. In 2022, outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, just wasn't able to get the job done due to the one fumble he had in the first half. And then he got back to the Super Bowl this past year and outplayed Mahomes once again, and the Eagles were able to win. Dominated throughout their entire playoff run. The Commanders was in the NFC Championship, won at 55-23. Wasn't able to get the first seed, but still played in the wild card, went through every round. Every game was different, and the Eagles were able to win finally. Got the 2 Super Bowls led behind Jalen Hurts and what he was able to do. I think he's improved each year. Obviously, 2024 was the year before this past season, was let down with the disappointing loss in the playoffs, and the way they started the season was very disappointing. But I still feel like Jalen Hurts has been able to elevate come playoff time, and he's improved year by year for the most part. His one kryptonite is the Buccaneers, because Ty Bowles has the defense and the weapons to stop Jalen Hurts, which is why the Buccaneers will always be his biggest kryptonite come playoff time. He's 0-2 against the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So that's just going to be his biggest kryptonite until the Eagles do something to prevent that. So maybe they meet up in the playoffs this upcoming season, and we'll see how that changes. Because he does have a win over them in the regular season, but he's yet to beat them in the playoffs. At 4, I have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow could be higher if he's just able to stay healthy. Like when he's playing, Joe Burrow is great. He's led the Bengals to the Super Bowl before. He's had multiple deep playoff runs. I'm not going to take that away from him. But the best ability is availability, and I can't put him in the top 3 when he's not always available, and he doesn't have what the 3 quarterbacks above him have, and that's an MVP. Because at number 3, I have Josh Allen, who just won an MVP, who's had good playoff performances, but he's also had a bad share of playoff performances. And even last year, he should have won. The Bills had a chance to win that game versus Chiefs. It was different from what happened 2 years ago, and the Bills had a chance to win. He wasn't able to do that with that team. So, but he's had his moments. At number 2, I have Lamar Jackson, same 2-time MVP, has had playoff runs, has gotten to the championship, lost 17-10 versus Chiefs. Lost 17-10 versus Chiefs in the playoffs 1 year. So he's yet to get past the Chiefs or the Bills, because I think they lost to the Bills at least once. But I do think He is the best dual threat quarterback in the league. I still feel like he's had his playoff moments, he's had his playoff letdowns. He's not the best playoff performer, but he does have two MVPs, and you can't take that away from him. Those MVPs are important, especially when ranking quarterbacks. Then at one, I still have Patrick Mahomes at one as the best quarterback in the league. I feel like despite him having a down year last year, what was considered his worst season, he still led his team to the Super Bowl. He's won without Tyreek Hill, won with Tyreek Hill. So he's proved that he can win with one of the best receiving cores and not one of the best. Like and Mahomes has ever he's changed his game too to become more of a dual threat quarterback. He would never be considered that, but he can at least scramble, which is good for him. And if he's able to get out the pocket and scramble a little bit, they can keep the Chiefs alive in some of those games. So the that's as far as that's my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Um, yeah, one oh yeah, the NBA draft. The NBA draft was certainly something. Ace the Ace Bailey thing and the Colin Boyles Murray, I think his name is, from the Raptors, that looked like he was disappointed in going to the Raptors. I think him I don't know what fuck was the first word he said as a sigh of relief, but the guy seemed like he's happy to be with the Raptors. He clarified it, but I don't know if that's the best thing to say. And then Ace Bailey, Ace Bailey went about this entire draft process the wrong way. If you're coming from a perspective of I want to go to a team that's the best fit for me, or I want to maximize my potential, people can understand that. But declining workouts from teams, that's stupid. Cause that's gonna make the NBA teams think less of your character as a person. So that's why he's in Utah now. They sent, really, that's what he did. Because he wanted to control, because you can't control stuff like that as a rookie. So now you're playing in Utah, a place where no black man wants to be. So Ace Bailey can have fun in Utah. And he wasn't even the best player on his team. Dylan Harper was the better player. So I don't know why he thought he had the same value, the same stock as Dylan Harper. They both went top 5. Dylan Harper went top 3 for a reason. And then the Lakers, we got R.J. Davis from North Carolina, and we got Thero from Arkansas. So I'm happy with those draft picks, especially since Austin Reed's going to leave anyways. So I'm cool with who we got in the draft. Then Reed's leaving, he declined his player option. So that's going to free up some space for us, and we'll probably get a center in free agency. I did like the 76ers draft because they was able to get Janai Broom, and they was able to get VJ Edgecombe. So those are two great pickups for them. So I think they're going to be great. I think they could be really good next season. But with that being said, I'm the Night of Champions recap, the main topic of this. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy this pay-per-view. I did not enjoy this pay-per-view. So let's get into it. First of all, I can't find it. Yeah, so Night of Champions, let's get into the recap. The first match, Kofi Kingston. Why did I say Kofi Kingston? You know what? Whoa. Okay. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, King of the Ring finals. First of all, my biggest issue with the pay-per-view was from the name alone, because it wasn't Night of Champions. It was an afternoon of nonsense. It was 6 matches and only 2 were title matches on a pay-per-view called Night of Champions, which happened in the afternoon for Americans, or in the morning if you live in Alaska or Hawaii. So, good luck to y'all. But Night of Champions, it was a massive disaster. I did not enjoy it. The pay-per-view name alone sucked. The crowd was really inconsistent. Like, the King of the Ring match, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. First of all, neither one of them should have been here. I will keep saying this. Like, it don't even lead to a program. It's just a one-off match. You could have did this. They shouldn't have been the King of the Ring. It should have been a number 1 contenders match. But Randy Orton was screwed by Ron Killings in St. Louis. And then Cody Rhodes was screwed at WrestleMania with Travis Scott distraction in the low blow and the belt. So you could have made this a number 1 contenders match because they both have a reason to go after John Cena and want another shot at the title. So you could have did that, and you could have did Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross in the King of the Ring finals. Like Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross is a Raw match. They could main event a Raw or open the show on Raw. Like this didn't have to be on the pay-per-view. So Randy and you could have put Randy and Cody here and made the number one contenders to determine who's gonna face Cena next, because you knew Punk wasn't winning. You could have did that easily, and Cross should have been in Jay's spot. As much as I love Jay, Karrion Kross should have had that spot, and you could have did Kross versus Sami in the King of the Ring finals. Was it not that simple? And it should have just been called King and Queen of the Ring, because that's really what it was. It wasn't Night of Champions. But this match, unlike this match didn't have interference. Yeah, it was 3 matches that didn't have interference, so that's cool. But Randy and Cody, like from the start, the slower pace I'm fine with. But Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania had a chance to hit John Cena with the belt, and he didn't. But he'll destroy Kevin Owens, he'll destroy Randy Orton, or his quote-unquote friends, he'll destroy them, but he can't hit John Cena with the belt. He doesn't have the same history that Cody has with Kevin or Randy, especially with Kevin Owens since he came back feuding with the Bloodline, or Randy with going all the way back to Legacy. So he don't have the same history with Cena as he has with them, but he's afraid to hit Cena with a belt. That doesn't make sense to me. And then Randy Orton him hesitating to do the punt kick also didn't make any sense at all. Because Randy Orton is a viper. When does a snake hesitate? It doesn't. If a snake is going to bite you, it's going to bite you. A viper shouldn't be hesitating. That don't make sense. So it was really no logic in this match. Like the match was solid, but there wasn't. The match, like you just looking at in-ring work, was solid. But story alone, like logic, it doesn't make sense at all. And then the way it ended was anticlimactic with like the chair, by using the chair as a plot hole to unloosen the turnbuckle. That's cool. But then Cody Rhodes sent Randy to the turnbuckle and he loses off across Rhodes. And he only hit 2 total in the match, but 1 off the turnbuckle spot. So it takes 2 to beat Randy Orton, but anybody else he'll use 3. He'll use 3 for Solo Sikoa, 3 for Roman, 3 for Cena, or attempt 3. But he only uses 2 to beat Randy Orton, who he had a much deeper history with. I think it took more than 2 to beat Kevin Owens. So how does he win off of 2 crossroads and really just won the end of the match? Because one he hit earlier didn't really have an effect later. And then he kicked out of multiple RKOs. I think Cody took like 3 RKOs. So when Cody Rhodes got to win, he should have won. Cena and Cody running back Cena and Cody makes sense, because Randy and Cena, you mark that that's the last time ever. So you can't do that and then have it then run it again. Like nah, Cody definitely should have won this match. I do agree with that decision. But I didn't like the match. Based off of logic, psychology, whatever you want to call it, it really didn't make sense. Like Cody started in the back, okay, he wants to win, but you've had opportunities to do this to the person that's holding the championship. You lost, and you did it. So I don't understand that. Street fight with Raquel and Rhea Ripley. This was actually a really good match, but the ending was terrible. Like every time with Judgment Day, somebody interferes, and then nothing really happens. But every time the Judgment Day interferes, the thing that does happen is that they lose, and it's with the Judgment Day. They always lose for some reason. And it was a really solid match. It was a really good match. Like Raquel, she did her thing. She was getting some work in. It was like, oh, this like the Raquel that was in NXT, the one that should be on top where Rhea Ripley and where Bianca Belair at now. It's like you didn't allow that to happen. Like you had Raquel no soul back-to-back clothesline from Rhea Ripley. If anybody else gets clothesline by Rhea Ripley, they're not no selling that. This is a kick out at 2. And she was able to close like that. She did multiple fall-away slams. Then she had Rhea tied up in the rope, started beating her with the kendo stick. Raquel, she sent Rhea into the timekeeper's area where she had the cover of the tables up there. Like that was a very impressive spot, because Rhea wasn't really getting a lot of offense in. Now Rhea did take off her belt and start whipping Raquel, so that was a cool spot in the match. I did like that. That was a cool spot. And then you hear that she hit the Razor's Edge, obviously with her history with Damian Priest. So I get that. I like Rhea using the Razor's Edge. But as long as we keep it to one woman doing that, because we got Priest doing it for the men, just allow him to use that since he looked up to Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, whatever you want to call them, and let Rhea use that since she got the history with Damian, but don't have everybody else just using the Razor's Edge. Just keep it with the Terror Twins. Keep that, and that's cool. But then Roxanne Perez came out there, and Rhea Ripley does a really cool baseball slide. Like that baseball slide kick, that's one of my favorite moves from Rhea Ripley. Can't fake it. But that was a good move she did to Roxanne with the trash can over her head. But Roxanne interference should have led to Raquel winning because Raquel losing don't make sense. Like Rhea winning, it don't put her back at the top of the title scene. She might still want to go after Roxanne Perez for interfering. And Roxanne still my thoughts because they're not done with this Rhea Ripley feud. I think Rhea Ripley being on top really don't make sense because I like the story of Roxanne interfering because Roxanne gonna do what she can to fit in with Raquel to prove that she can trust her. So I like that story, and that's how they're gonna become tag team champions. It's gonna work out. People might be mad at it. It's gonna work out, and it's a good spot for Roxanne. So this is how some stars gotta start out. You gotta start off in the tag team division and build your way up to the main event scene. She's still relatively new to the main roster. She's been here since January this year. She don't have any history on the main roster aside from like a one-off match after one of the WrestleMania last year, I think. But she's been on here since January, so let Roxanne rock, and we'll see where it goes. But Raquel should have won because Rhea Ripley, her winning this match don't do nothing. Like if she loses because somebody interfered, it still makes her look strong because it means that another person had to get involved for her to lose a match. That's what it proves. It proves that she's still a big deal, and then you would have got the heel heat for Raquel Rodriguez because a lot of these heels can't be taken serious, so you need to be able to get some heel heat. So I think that would have been a good move to let Raquel win. Alice, you said it felt like a lot of the top wrestlers are wrestling to a music reference, play the greatest hits rather than creating a consistent album. If that makes sense. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. I get what you're saying. I gotta take a picture of this because, oh, that's a good comment. That make a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna take a picture of that. Yeah, it's not a lot of consistency. I see what you're saying. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like some of these wrestlers aren't very consistent when it comes to like that you have a great match, then average match. Bad match, then good match. Like it's really inconsistent. Like I don't get what it is. But moving on to the next match, Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Like I said, this should have been a King of the Ring finals. Karrion Kross should have took J spot. It should have been the King of the Ring finals match. And then Randy and Cody could have just been a straight up number one contenders match because they both have a reason to want to target John Cena without having to win King of the Ring. But Karrion Kross and Sami, it just felt like this could be the main event of Raw. This could open a Raw. I just felt like it could be a big match for a Monday Night Raw, not a pay-per-view level match. Night of Champions, and there's nothing on the line. Sami winning don't even do nothing for him. And I did count the Karrion Kross backbone that he took. He took about 4. I know he took a clothesline at one point. Then Sami had a Kross went for a few early pins just to have Sami exert some energy, like force him to kick out, which was good because it's what heel should be doing. Then Sami, he got a loud pop. He got a great reaction. So shout out to Sami Zayn, I guess. He took a Blue Thunder Bomb. Karrion Kross did. He reversed the first attempt, but in the second attempt, he was able to. He did have to take it because you know he was going to hit it at some point. Sami never wins off that move. I think the last time he did win off that move was in NXT. But the Luva kick came out of nowhere, and that was just the end of it. I felt like it could have been a bit longer, but it is what it is. Like Sami got the win. I don't really know what it does for him. I don't think Sami should challenge for the world title yet. I think he should get a few more wins and quality feuds under his belt and challenge for the world title or build up to him winning the Royal Rumble in Saudi. If they want to be smart, I would have him do have a few more feuds and get some quality wins. Maybe have him and Jay in a one-off match to prove that he can be a main event star. Have him beat your former world champion. Then that's what they do. They have Sammy go on to win the Royal Rumble. But he has to get some quality wins to build up to that. I don't want it to just come out of nowhere like he has no momentum. I want it to actually pay off to be something. And so that's what I think. But I do think Karrion Kross should have got the win. But they don't really do nothing for Sami Zayn. So, but Karrion Kross, I'll see you in AEW in September. Because Karrion Kross' WWE run is over. It's over from here. I don't see him doing much anything. I think it's over for him now. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it was a solid match. But Kross should have got the win. And then Scarlett didn't even interfere. What's the point of being a heel if you're not doing nothing? Scarlett never interfered in the match. Actually, let's bring the rating down. Because what? Scarlett, she out there, she'd at least interfere once. She could have grabbed Sammy's foot or something. But the United States Championship match, I already made a short about it. The Samoan Dynasty is my favorite dynasty in wrestling. But we don't need more. We don't need another bloodline story. This should not be, it's not going to be the main focal point of SmackDown. I think the tag team division is the focal point of SmackDown now. And maybe that's just opinion. But I feel like the tag division is the focus point of SmackDown. And it feels like this is second. Because with Hikuleo debuting, I feel like you should have just started him off in NXT. Like, you don't. Like, it's weird what. I'll address that in a second. But Hikuleo, like, it's no disrespect to him, but I don't know much about the guy. But he nearly botched a choke slam. So that isn't a good sign. He should have started in NXT. Because you bringing all these Samoans over, and it's like, where do they go after this? But you can't keep this story going forever. Sure, you can revisit it in the future, which you know they will. It's just WWE. A lot of stuff gets revisited. But you just ended a bloodline story. You already ended one. Jey Uso escaped bloodline vortex. Sammy escaped bloodline vortex. Roman escaped bloodline vortex. But you're going to keep Jimmy in it. So you want Jimmy and Jey to team back up again and be part of another bloodline story. That only hurts both of them because Jimmy's not even getting the singles run. Now that Solo winning with, I'm not mad at. Like Solo, he's now the fourth member out of the OG bloodline to win a singles title on the main roster. But Jimmy is the only one from the OG bloodline to not won a singles title yet. Because Jey got the IC title and the World Heavyweight title. Roman was the Universal Champion. He had 1,000 days. Sami Zayn was IC champion. He beat Gunther. And he was also a tag team champion. He won tag team gold to from the bloodline. And then I think who else? Solo Sikoa, North American champion, and now a United States champion. So they already had single titles on the main roster except for Jimmy. So Jimmy could be the one to beat what's the name? Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa winning I'm fine with, but the GOAT Tonga Loa is back. Tonga Loa made an appearance. Tonga Loa is back and he's here to stay. But nah, Tonga Loa I'm happy he's back. So that means that Tonga is coming soon. But where he lies, if he teams up with Jacob, that would be surprising. I wouldn't mind that. But it's just I'm trying to figure out where do you go from here. Like you had this new bloodline, but it's like I don't know where they go from here. That's the problem. Like obviously you got a story now, but after that story ends, they're gonna kind of be stuck. And with Solo having the U.S. title, does that hold up the mid-card division? It could. And I hope it doesn't. Because I hope some Andrade, some Ray Phoenixes, people like that get a shot. They don't have to win it, but at least get a shot at it. Because you know the bloodline going to interfere, but it gets to a point where all this interference just becomes unnecessary and it gets tiring at a point. But the match was, and then the ref wasn't even looking when Hikuleo interfered. So how is that not a DQ finish? I don't understand how that works. Like the match was solid, but I couldn't even focus on the match because of the interferences. Like I felt interferences felt more important than the match, which shouldn't happen. Like obviously interference is part of wrestling, but I'm tired of it at this point, especially when it feels more important than the match. Like Hikuleo shouldn't feel more important than Solo winning his first singles title on the main roster. And this is a WWE problem because I don't know what they were thinking. He said Cross never really got started in WWE, to be honest. I think they should have let him have a match with Roman Reigns. He don't have to win it, but they had people that they just threw at Roman Reigns. That threw Cesaro at Roman Reigns one time. So Cross could have got a match. Like he came there, went after Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, but he only challenged Drew, and he lost to Drew. So this whole stop with Karrion Cross was weird. So I hope he does. I hope he does go somewhere else where he can thrive and do his own thing. But the Queen of the Ring finals, this match was solid. The Jade versus Asuka, it was solid. Nothing too much to say about that. It was a solid match. But nah, Asuka. But on serious note, Asuka targeting the back of Jade's knee early on was great because it limits her from doing that big boot that she usually does, because she needs her leg to use that power, and that's where a lot of her strength comes from, using her feet. So that was a good move by Asuka, showing the veteran experience by targeting that. Then you have both of them delivering, going back and forth with elbows to each other. This was way better than the match with Roxanne on Monday. So, like Jade can wrestle. It's just certain styles don't mesh well together. Like some of Jade's best matches are against Chris Statlander in AEW, her last match before she left. Naomi at WrestleMania. Nia Jax on SmackDown. Even the match her and Tiffany had was looking to be solid. It just ended in DQ. Like her best matches do not come with smaller and faster people. Like he has to wrestle people at the same pace as her, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like some people, that's just how they are. Like Nia Jax versus Tiffany is like that match was a fun match. It was a great match. But if Nia Jax is wrestling a Selena Vega, it might not work as well. She has wrestled Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss and Selena had different wrestling styles. If you get what I'm saying. But Jade, she did a good job in this match. Asuka did. She did better. But Jade didn't do a bad job in this match. Like I don't get this whole Jade can't wrestle narrative. I don't think people actually seen Jade wrestle, because she's had some good matches under her belt. Like bad wrestlers don't have good matches. She's had multiple good matches, good stories. Even her tag team matches have been good, and tag team matches are a part of wrestling. So I don't know why people try to discredit that. But back to the match, the setup. I'm pretty sure she did a sit-up power bomb at one point in the match. She looked strong in part of the match. Obviously, Asuka with the early advantage. I like that because it shows the veteran experience. And this is wrestling, so the experience matters more than the size. That's what it comes to. Like starting the match off, the experience should matter more than the size. That's what it really should come down to. Because even Roxanne Perez is more experienced than Jade Cargill. So, but Jade, she won, and she should have. Asuka can get a title match on like out of the power of friendship type stuff from Io Sky. But it's simple. But then Jade winning, it makes sense. The crowd reaction was pretty terrible. Like they didn't say nothing at all. Like they didn't even cheer. But Jade and Tiffany at SummerSlam, Jade shouldn't win because she's filming a movie soon. I think Naomi should cash in during the match and pin Tiffany to win the title. Because even she could pin Jade, but well, either way, regardless if she cash in, Jade's gonna be filming a movie, so that's cash in the match. Pin Tiffany, then you have an automatic story there. You can do a feud with them, run back Naomi and Tiffany, Naomi retains. Then once Jade is back, she can be like, you ruined my match. Then I was just supposed to win the championship, but because you cashed in, I wasn't able to win it. So when she comes back, run it again. But have Naomi retain. So now they're 1-1 versus each other. And then they could do a third match, and have Naomi win as a heel. Have her put her feet on the ropes. Have her get the win over Jade by having her feet on the ropes or something like that. Because heels need to win in heel ways, so do that. Then you have a reason to run back a third match. It's tied up 1-1. She cheated to win the second one. And then she cashed in her SummerSlam match to become champion. So you have a reason to do that. And then if it ends in a no contest because Bianca gets involved or something, do the triple threat match. Like you have multiple stories you could tell with Naomi cashing in. Even Naomi versus Nia Jax, you could do that. Like once Naomi cashes in, have her go on a dominant reign as champion. And then the WWE Championship match between CM Punk and John Cena. I hate when interference is taken away from the match. Because if Seth Rollins wasn't going to cash in, he shouldn't have came out there. This whole, I'm going to wait Like, no, there's no build up to this because they only did this on the kickoff show, which not a lot of people watch because it was a Friday on YouTube in the afternoon when people are working. So not many people saw the kickoff show of the segment Seth did with Punk and Cena. But that's only one segment. You can't just use one segment and build that up to try to do a fake cash in. So once he cashes in, just cash it in. Like, don't do this whole thing. And this is so stupid. Then you had Penta and Sammy come out there to attack Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Like, it's so much interference. CM Punk did I forgot what movie he did, but he overshot on the move he did. Then he almost hit the table, and that could have ended bad. So they botched. They nearly botched it. They did botch the double choke slam. I think it was multiple ref muscles, which was unnecessary. They teased signs of Cena turning face, which I shouldn't have did in this match because CM Punk shouldn't be the catalyst for you turning face. Hey, man, no, that shouldn't be the catalyst for him turning face. And then I was way there getting mad at Cena for taking out Charles Robinson. Like, why would he want to get cashed in on? That was a smart move. Like, sometimes commentary says small things, and it's just like, are you really watching the show? Are we watching the same show? Like, that's what, like, even if he's a heel, the commentator should at least respect that he's not trying to get cashed in on. I don't think that's a hard concept to understand. But Cena ended up winning. Punk kicked out of 3 AAs for whatever reason. But then he get hit with one stomp and Cena pinned him off of that. But, like, that don't make any type of sense to me. But John Cena retained, as he should have, teasing signs of a face turn. Punk should not be the catalyst for Cena turning face. But I know it's going to take, maybe it's Cody. Maybe he turns face after SummerSlam. Because I don't think he's showing up till SummerSlam. There's no reason. Because he only got 15 days left. And it's 6 months left. Well, 5 now. But yeah. And then I think the overall, I get a pay-per-view of 4.5 out of 10. I think my biggest issue was a lot of the logic in this whole thing didn't make much sense to me. But yeah, 4.5 out of 10. That's my personal opinion of this show. Let me know if y'all rate the show in the chat or in the comments if you're seeing this after. But I give it a 4.5. I gotta write something down real quick. But yeah, 4.5 out of 10 for me because I feel like a lot of the interferences was really unnecessary and really took away from the matches, or it even took away from the match where it didn't help the other person win. The King and Queen of the Ring finals had completely different receptions. And they were both face versus face matches. Randy Orton is supposed to be a Viper, but he doesn't do the punt kick. When does a snake hesitate? Like, a lot of the logic, a lot of the quote unquote psychology that people like to talk about was not used in this match. I mean, yeah, used in this event, really. A Hikuleo debut, and I felt like that was bad timing. Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot that was wrong with the pay-per-view. I didn't like it. I simply didn't. Like, the match quality wasn't bad, but it was just the way that the show was booked. And like, the order of the show was fine, but the way that it's booked and the matches, I give this pay-per-view a 4.5 out of 10. This is definitely WWE's first pay-per-view of the year. I wouldn't say, like, it's not, and I don't consider Saturday Night's main event a pay-per-view. That's in a whole different, that's a TV special. But anything, I can see why people give it a bit higher, like a 6. Yeah, like, nothing really made me happy. Like, Solo winning, I would have been fine with, but the moment didn't feel big. Solo winning didn't feel special. And I just hope that Hikuleo doesn't outshine him. I hope that don't happen because Jacob Fatu just did that to Solo, which I guess you can't help star power, but I don't know if Hikuleo was going to be what Jacob Fatu is. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton, it's been rough. She got to go back to the mid card. She can be a good mid card champion, like her, but she got to be a heel. When she can't be a face anymore. It's not working out. But yeah, I didn't enjoy this pay-per-view. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just one of the worst I've seen this year. I still think AEW Dynasty was worse than this, though. I don't think anything can be as bad as AEW Dynasty. That was just a whole different level of bad. But to end it off, if you have any questions, ask now because I'm going to end this in a few minutes. But athletes of the week, since and this is from last Sunday to last night of Saturday, I would go with for the NBA. One with Shea. Obviously, it was just one game played this last week with Game 7. He was inefficient, but he still had a great game, leading his team to a win, leading OKC to the chip and winning Finals MVP, dropping 29 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, a steal and a block, and a 103 to 91 win. Obviously, it sucked to see Tyrese Halliburton go down, but there was a great show of respect from what's the name, from Shea to show respect to Halliburton to check on him in the locker room. Like I really love that from Shea. Like I said, 8 of 27 from the field, 2 of 12 from 3, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Wasn't the most efficient, but he still did a lot to lead his team to the win. MLB, yep. I'm watching the Cardinals game on the side right now. So we're in the 7th inning. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. We up 5-0. Since when for the MLB for athletes of the week, I ain't watched much baseball this week, but the game I watched last night between the Tigers and the Twins, Zach McKinstry was at bat 4 times, had 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and 1 home run. I just gave, and the Tigers ended up winning 10-5 over the Twins to get their 52nd win of the season yesterday afternoon. I just want gave him athlete of the week since I didn't get a chance to see many baseball games this week, but that was a game that stood out to me the most in his performance. So great game from Zach McKinstry. New Japan Pro. I'm going to start watching New Japan soon, which I talked about that on the last episode of my podcast, or either on episode 51 and 50 if you want to check out why. But I went with Hiroshi Tanahashi for this week. Won a one-on-one match versus Tamaku Hana at New Japan Seoul Day 3, which was a good match. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much done with New Japan. I talked about that in one of the last few episodes of my pod. For golf, I went with Patrick Reed. He had a -9 after the second round of the Liv Golf Dallas tournament. I see what happens later today when round 3 takes place. Round 3 might be on right now, but I'm just watch tonight and drop a short about that in the morning. For WWE, I went with Cody Rhodes. Both his matches were actually really good. It was just the logic of it was the psychology of the match with Randy that I didn't like, but the match quality itself was great. Him and Jay Uso on Raw was a great match, and him and Randy winning both of those matches to become the 2025 King of the Ring. So shout out Cody Rhodes. TNA, I went with Zachary Wentz. Ryan and Nimmo on Impact in a one-on-one match, and one half of the tag team champions, and it was a solid match. It was a really good show opener. I didn't expect the match to be as decent as it was. Then for AEW, I went with Jeff Speed, which is Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. They defeated the Gates of Agony on Collision last weekend. Then defeated Ricochet and AR Fox on Dynamite, and 2 good matches. And then for the WNBA, I went with Kelsey Mitchell for the Fever. Led them. They went 2-2 this past week. Went 1-1 without Caitlin Clark as she missed 2 games. They're 8-8 currently. The Indiana Fever are 7th in the league. But Kelsey Mitchell put up 24.5 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.2 blocks, only 1.5 turnovers per game, so she limited her turnovers, which was great. She also limited her personal fouls, just 2.2 per game. Shot 56.6% from the field, so almost 57. Shot 57% from 3, and shot 72% from the free throw line. So she was very efficient, had a great week, keeping the Indiana Fever afloat even without Caitlin Clark, still being able to get some wins. So a shout out to Kelsey Mitchell. She's actually my favorite player in the WNBA. So it's great to see her shine and doing her thing with Caitlin Clark being out. Don't know when Clark comes back, but hopefully she comes back soon. Because she's definitely going to be missed by the Indiana Fever. Especially, they could have won both of those games if she played. But hopefully she's back soon. I don't know if they play today. If they do, I'm definitely watch. But that wraps it up for episode 52 of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, my 1-year anniversary of my new podcast. Alex, send it to me on Instagram, Alex. Cause I don't think I heard about that. But if you're still here, send that to me on Instagram. But with that being said, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment if you're seeing this after the live stream. And I will be back later today with another live where we're doing a debate with the family in about 3 hours. So make sure y'all tune in for that.